This is a mini Astro City arcade I made from a model kit, and today I'm going to show you how I made it. So we start with the kit. When we look inside, we find this. What we're going to do is actually cut all these. So take out your snips and just cut them. So I'm using flush cuts right here. And then this is one of the most important parts, and we're going to cut this to hold actually the monitor. Okay, when we're done, we're going to end up with little dinky pieces like this. Put them on the base, and then you get this. So now we actually want to look to see how it fits over the monitor. This is what we're using, a 2.2 inch TFT LCD. I put an SD card here to just separate it from the glue. So it has this adhesive pad underneath. I just separated with a screwdriver, and then I put this so it doesn't stick back on. Okay. Now that we have this, we're actually going to also cut it in the back because it's not going to fit in the entire case. We're going to cut along this line roughly. And here's a tape marker. It's about 57 millimeters from the edge. So if you're doing this, just put your tape square along this line. Okay, another thing is if you look in the front, it'll actually stop right in front of that switch right there. Okay. So now we're going to test the fit of the screen. What we can see is that it actually fits pretty well, and that's what you want. And now we're going to cut out the other pieces. So we actually need to cut little channels out of here so everything fits flush. So we're taking out these little tabs off. So again, just use your flush cuts. Do that. So after the screen is cut, so I actually just use a Dremel to Dremel through this. And you end up with this. I also put a piece of foam underneath right here just to give it a bit of separation. This is about as much space as you want when you finally put it in there. And now we're going to test the fit of everything. So we take our little bezel that we cropped before, place it over, and then take this white piece over all of it. You can see that it fits pretty well. So now we're going to look at it more, and we're good. So now we're going to look at the Pi itself. So this is the brains of everything. This is a Pi 3 that I actually sanded down on the sides so it would fit into the cabinet. I also removed all the headers as well. So here we have actually how I'm removing everything to make sure this Pi fits. So we're going to cut out these pieces, again flush cuts, and a combination of just X-Acto knives. And it ends up with something very clean. So right now I'm going to show you how I did a little bit of this. You just take your flush cuts, cut along these corners, and then you're going to use those same flush cuts to also pry it off. And then after you do that, just pry off all the excess. Doesn't have to look pretty because no one's going to see the inside. So just cut everything, and then it should be roughly good. You just want to make sure everything's smooth so none of your parts hit anything. We're going to do the same thing to these sides. Again, remove these bottom parts. And then when we finish, it's going to look something like this. So now I'm going to show you some other micro USB hardware. So I'm going to make out little breakouts for the power and also a USB connection on the bottom of the board. So now we have this. They're going to go roughly here. I'm going to cut 2 holes. I'm going to do that by drilling 3 little small holes and then cutting between them with an X-Acto blade. When I'm done, it looks something like this. So one on the side for USB and the one in the back is for power. I like this setup, but if you guys want to do 2 side by side, go for it. And when everything's in, it should fit like this. So the board's in, looks good. Clearance, so we also need to cut those side parts to make sure the monitor fits. So on the other side we have here, because there's some components on that PCB, and you're actually wedging the monitor behind that part. So when it's assembled, it looks roughly like this, so it should fit in pretty smoothly. Now we're going to look at the board. Things that we're going to wire is power and also USB. We're going to use the SPIO pins, so I'm going to leave a link in the description that shows pretty much what to use. And when we're done, we're going to have something like this. The back 2 are power, these side 2 are USB. And then we're going to fit the screen in. The screen is actually going to go behind that lip right there. And now I've hot glued the connections and also wired them in. And then at the top you can see that it fits pretty well. Everything's wired in based on the diagram that's shown previously. And now we're just going to do final fits for everything. It's actually pretty simple. I've soldered the pins to the bottom, but again, your mileage may vary. So now the moment of truth, we're going to power it up and hopefully it boots.
I think it's time to blow this scene. Get everybody in the stuff together. Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
Okay, now I'm going to show you a little bit of gameplay. Now that we know that it's working, there's the finished part. I'm using a wireless PS3 controller, so I actually connected it through Bluetooth. And now I'm going through the menu screen. So I got a couple games on here. I'm going to play Third Strike. I'm going to be horrible at it because I'm not a pad player, but we'll see how it goes. So select as coins and then we're good to go. Okay, now for my horrible gameplay. I'm doing this while I record. As you can see, I miss everything. And hopefully I don't lose you. This is just to show the frame rate and basically how well it actually plays. Third Strike plays pretty well on this Pi. Okay, good. On the first round, and also I'm not going to bore you with the details and just show you that I won the second round. And that's pretty much it. I'm going to leave links in the description for other things. Hope you enjoyed it.